Okay, you guys, today we have more of a technical video. So if you're not interested in technical videos, this may not be one for you to watch. But it's good stuff. I'm going to be talking about how to figure out your exit strategy for a property. And if you can't figure out your exit strategy, it may not be a good property to buy. So me and a couple people, we were looking at this deal. It's out at the beach. And it's on terms, which if you don't know, it's subject to the existing financing. So if you're not familiar with that, watch some of my other videos where I talk about subject to. But anyways, it's a pretty sweet deal. There's only one problem. There's no equity. Okay, take that back. There's two problems. There's no equity, and it'll barely cash flow. So flipping is out of the question. If there's no equity, you could flip it and lose everything. There's no upside when there's no equity, right? I mean, let's say maybe it's worth $400,000, but they owe $350. Even if you put $25K into a property to maybe make 25, I mean, if your options are make $25K, that's all gone with realtor fees, closing costs, holding. If you end up spending more than you think, if you hold it longer than you think, it just, $25K, if that's how much money you have to make, it's gone. You'll lose money. Don't do that. You need bigger spreads. I'm just telling you the way it is. Unless you have $25K after closing costs. Let's say you do nothing. You just put it straight on the market as is, and you think you'll make $50K. Great. There is some options like that. Half of that, maybe even more, depending on the listing price and how long it takes to sell, will be gone. So you might make 25. You might by doing no work and listing it. So anyways, back to the original subject property. There is no equity, so flipping is out of the question. So that means it needs to be a hold. Okay, well, what options do we have for holding it? We have long-term, short-term, and mid-term, right? Long-term, it won't cash flow. In fact, you'll be negative cash flow a little bit every month, which for some people, they're okay with that, right? Sometimes it's worth it to get into an asset and pay the negative cash flow, right? To lose money every month. Sometimes that's okay. Would I recommend you doing that with your first couple properties? Probably not. Bad idea. But if you already have money, or if you're making a lot of money, it's not terrible to lose, a few $100 every month plus some vacancy, whatever, right? Not the worst thing in the world. But I don't like losing money. And even if I was to do this by myself and not partner with somebody, we would lose money. So if you're going to lose money, might as well spread it in half, right? If I have a partner, I'll only lose half the amount of money. So short-term rental, neither of us really like the idea of losing money. So then we went to the next thing, which is more management intensive, which is a midterm rental. A midterm rental, after doing some proper analysis on Furnish Finders, Airbnb with 30-night plus stays, Zillow, looking at the Zestimate, going to rentometer.com and looking at what it could rent for long-term, right? We're trying to just use all these different metrics and see what our competition is. It looks like we could probably rent the property for $2,300 a month. And that's after we put money into fixing it. Not a lot, but, just, really, really fluff and buff, like literally just floor and paint the cabinets, fix some holes, maybe a new bathroom vanity and mirror, right? Keeping it very, very simple. Plus, we got to pay the down payment to get into the deal, fix it, and then we got to furnish it. Because that's what Furnished Finder is, right? It's a midterm rental that already has beds, already has TVs, already has silverware, already has appliances, like all that stuff is there. So we have to provide that. So we were looking at maybe being $30,000 into the deal. And it might cash flow $400 a month, maybe more in the summertime, right? Well, it would take us 30 months let's say we made $1,000 a month, which is impossible. So let me back that up. Let's say we averaged $500 a month. It would take us, what is that? 60 months, right? 500 per month times 60 months for us to make our $30,000 back, if I'm not doing my math incorrectly. That's a long time just to get your initial investment back. 60 months. And that means we're managing it for free. That's if, we don't have extensive vacancies. That's if we don't have a major CapEx expense, right? So we're being very hopeful. And I do not like to operate on hope. Hopium is dangerous, right? Hopium is dangerous. So you have to have a really solid plan, and that midterm rental just wasn't really enough. Like we would probably break even, right? Every month we'd probably break even. We got to pay cleaners, when people move, right? Every month, 2 or 3, we have cleaners back in there. We might have to do some repairs and stuff. So basically we'd be managing it for free. We'd have a property with no cash flow, and no equity. So not terrible. It's at the beach. We like the location. It's kind of nice. But neither of us are really in a position where we have so much money and time where we can just throw $15,000 or $20,000 each at this property and then just kind of manage it for free. So then we looked at short-term rentals, which at the beach, at the coast is a big thing, right? Everybody's into that. In fact, too many people are into it. But anyways, that's another video. We looked at short-term rentals, and very quickly did we find out that property cannot be a short-term rental. So that is not an exit strategy that we can use. So short-term, out of the question. Mid-term, break even, best case scenario. Best case scenario with long-term, we lose money every month. So, and then obviously no equity, so we can't flip the property. So what do? Well, even though it's on subject to terms at a 3.5% interest rate with a low down payment, like it's not a lot, between 2 people, $20,000 each, that includes the getting into the deal, the furnishing it, and the renovations. It's not in the cards right now. I'm going to talk to a couple other people. I'm going to see if I can get somebody who wants to put up all the money, and I'll take care of all the management. If we're kind of like a 50-50 split, right? Like I'm going to go out there, I'll do the work. They put up the money, I'll do the work, I'll do the management. I'm willing to do that for 50% of a beach property, but I don't like the idea of losing money every month. So I don't really want to be on that end of it. I mean, obviously we're going to go 50-50. So if there's a missed mortgage payment, they're going to have to pay half, I'd have to pay half, which, I'm okay with, but I don't like having to do that and have $20,000 in the deal. So I'm willing to do some sweat equity, but I don't really want to put money towards it. So, and I have a strong suspicion the other people that I plan on talking to are going to feel that same way. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's just not looking like a favorable deal. And that's kind of how you analyze, like the quick and dirty. Like this is 8 minutes. I trailed off on some ADHD stuff at least 3 or 4 times. Sorry about that. But that is the quick and dirty way of how do you figure out an exit strategy to a property, right? If there's equity, can you flip it? If there's not, can you rent it long-term, mid-term, short-term? Okay, okay, another exit strategy is, let's say it takes you $10,000 to get into the deal, no money to fix it up, there's no equity, there's no cash flow, unless another potentiality is doing a lease option. So you find somebody who's looking for a home or a house that can't afford it because of interest rates, because of the monthly payment, or excuse me, not the monthly payment, the down payment, right? Or for whatever reason, right? They don't qualify for a traditional loan. And you say, hey, I have a house and I'm willing to work with you. I see that you have bad credit. I see that you maybe have a criminal issue 10 years ago or something like that, but I'm willing to work with you. But I need $20,000 up front. And so I get my 10K back plus 10K. And then let's say the mortgage costs me $3,000 a month. You're going to have to pay me $3,500. So that way, on a property that could not cash flow with a traditional long-term or mid-term rental strategy, you can then find somebody who really wants a house and may not qualify through traditional means, right? A mortgage. And you can do a lease option, which is you say, hey, I'll give you the option for 2 years to buy the property at this set point. So let's say I bought it for $4, you guys buy it for $475. 2 years in the future, there'll probably be some appreciation or something like that. We're going to take the $20,000 and tell them, if you exercise the option to buy the property, the extra $500 you guys are paying me towards rent, I'll put towards the principal, right? So there's ways to do it where you're not taking advantage of people. There's ways to be a reasonable and decent human being. You don't have to do that. Basically, lease options are completely between, the buyer and the seller. So, it's really up to how you guys want to negotiate that deal. But that's another exit strategy. Subject to, right, is kind of like that without like a lease option. Subject to is more for people who are a little bit desperate, who are trying to get out of a property. And that could be you, right? Like if you're in a property that doesn't cash flow with no equity and you're really in trouble, you might be able to lease option or subject to that to someone else so they can kind of take it off your hands for you. But anyways, there's probably some other options that I'm missing. Feel free to comment down below if you've heard of a different exit strategy that I may have missed. I apologize. I'm driving around door knocking. I should probably make notes and be a little bit more prepared, but I just want to give you guys the quick and dirty of the most common exit strategies that people use when looking to invest in real estate. So let me know if you guys have any questions down below.